Hey, we in there? We clear, huh? Hey, what's going on, traders? What y'all doing for this bud over here with Drip and Pips? Where every week I try to lead a market dripping in pips. You understand what I'm talking about? But yeah, man, I was like a sniper in the market this week. Not necessarily sniper entries. I'm just saying snipers because hey, we undefeated. We got that Floyd Mayweather record this week. So basically, what I'm gonna do, this gonna be more so of like a weekly breakdown of every trade I took this week. All right, check out the background. This is a hotel. I'm not gonna try to floss like I'm living like this, man. This is a resort in Orlando. You know what I mean? But hey, I'm about to. I'm gonna attempt to do this OBS studio this time. I don't have my actual webcam, but hey, laptops come with a camera, so I'm gonna get on this OBS and go through the trade breakdown. A couple of the trades in my previous video, I think they fall into the same week. So you seen two of the trades I took, right? So I took about 4 or 5, maybe 4, because my trading days are Monday through Thursday. So I took about 4 setups, won every one of them. Hey, this was an undefeated week. I think, to be honest, I had a handful of them, right? I'm like on a 10 win streak. You know what I mean? Some of them, that was before the YouTube, right? So, yeah, we about to get into this, and I'm about to show you the trade breakdowns of the ones I took.
Blam! I believe we on. I'm gonna go ahead and get straight to it, right? These are one of the trades that I mentioned in my previous video, where I had on my daily time frame a major level of resistance at the very top of the screen. Straight to the point, price came to it, rejected it, created a little change of character, if you will. Came back up, made my right shoulder, which I entered. It was either 15-minute or 30-minute. I'm assuming more than likely it was a 15-minute time frame. Came back up, created the right shoulder, then rejected. Not to mention, gave the third rejection from the trend line. You know what I mean? If you want to be one of the ones who did the one who do like a counter trend line break, of course you could have drew this trend line here, got you a break and enter on that one. Risk to reward wouldn't have been as great. I could have even brought it down to could have brought my stop loss down to this top of this week. But I was like, let me give it some breathing room, keep it at the top of this zone here. All right. And you know what? To be honest, I really didn't hold it all the way down to this point, because I would not let my trades come all the way back up to my entry pretty much. Because even if I did, stops would have been an even. Or I don't do stops even. I do stops in profit, because I'm not giving nothing back to the market, right? What was my confluence to get out of this trade? I use Fibonacci too, man. I'm a Fibonacci trader. I actually have 3 trading styles. Supply and demand, which I really don't use no more. It was on a 5-minute. I have a strictly Fibonacci trading strategy where I use strictly Fibonacci, right? So my confluence to get out of this trade, right? I draw my Fibonacci different from other people. Mine is based off candle closure. So I drew my Fibonacci, from this low to this high, being this candlestick right here, and not this one, because this is the highest closing candle. I do the wick of the highest and the wick of the lowest closing candle. That's more accurate. If you try it on your chart, you will see. So why did I do that? And what gave me the green light to get out? Price came back and rejected this 786. 786, 886 is a very strong area on this Fibonacci that causes rejections. I already have quite a few things on my chart, but for the sake of this conversation here or this video, all right, I'm gonna draw this on. This is 786, and 886 down here. Far more times than not, price is gonna reject the golden zone, which is the 50 and the 618, and the 786, 886. Price came and rejected this 786 zone. Once I seen this candle, I went ahead and got out. And good thing I did. I guess you can say good thing. Hindsight, it might not have been the best thing, but it was for me because I didn't lose. So I got out right here, and think about it, that would have been 70 pips, so I was up 45 maybe, and that's pretty decent. How do I get this thing out? Come on now. Oh, it's down at the bottom. So that was that trade. Let's go ahead and get this out the way. I'm gonna go ahead and get this out the way too, because that was a previous trade. I drew that, to bring a little more insight. This is the current outer trend line I'm using. I had to darken it or lighten it for the sake of this video. That was that trade, and I also caught one down at the bottom. I caught a buy. And why did I catch that? How did I catch that? It was close to this trend line. You know, we overall bullish, right? And I had a level of resistance right here, and I expected it to act as support, which it did. Which it did, huh? And then once I got down to this level, once it came down to this support level, I was like, let me pull up my RSI or my stochastic, right? And I have, you know, we have a low and then a lower low on the candlesticks. But if you look at the RSI, we have, or stochastic, we have a low and then a higher low, giving the indication of a reversal, which is called divergence, if you will. You know, I was expecting on this trade, I was expecting this trend line break. Was it on the 5 minute? Yeah, it was on the 5 minute. I was expecting a trend line break and retest. It didn't quite come back down to the zone where I would have liked it to come back down to for a better risk to reward. I would have found an entry within this area on the bullish candle and put my stop loss below this zone or this wick, whichever I felt at the time. I was like, okay, sometimes the market may not do that. So when in doubt, I either pull out my field or my moving averages, which I don't use too often. When I seen it came when I seen it came back and rejected, I kind of got in on a live candle. You know what I mean? I came and got on a live candle. You know what? Yeah, it was the 15 minute. I'm screwing up. Yeah, it was the 15 minute. Once it came back, it didn't come back and retest my zone. I seen it come back, and retested off these moving averages. Now, after this candle closed, I seen it made its low before it made its high. Once it make a low before it make its high, that give me a green light to get in, which I did. And that one I did, I held all the way. It worked out in my favor. And I was like, okay. I wasn't too much expecting it to, because once it's been times where you might get in and go in profit and then come back down and hit the zone which you expected in the first place. So that was, my second win for the week. That good old GJ came through for me again. Did I take a UJ? Let's see. Oh, yeah. This was another, I think this was a counter trend. All right, as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. This is a level of resistance. It tested, multiple times over and over, act as support and resistance. Or should I say a key level. Now, once I seen that it was kind of like, it had a strong impulse move, barely any pullbacks. That's more so like an overbought. That's like an overbought type of market for me. Not to mention, right, on the hourly time frame, if I pull up my stochastic again, once again, like I say, it's overbought. That's the first confluence for me. Second confluence, like I say, it hit this level of resistance. That's 2. My third confluence, it hit this trend line here, top of my channel. I didn't wait for a break and retest on the trend line as far as this one went. Right, I caught this one on the 30 minute. I seen this strong candle coming down. I entered. And I was like, once I seen these 2 candlesticks, I started losing my confidence. I'm like, man, I don't know about this trade here. But I was like, hey, I'm already, this deep in a drawdown. I might as well let it run. So after so long, as you can see, she came back and hit. And I'm like, maybe, hey, I might be doing something out here. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think this trade ran for about like 16 hours. I was like, man, I may as well be a swing trader holding these. For some reason or another, this past week, all of my trades, it held in certain areas. It just consolidated, barely moved. I don't know what it was about this week. She was not giving me what I wanted or how I wanted. She gave me what I wanted, but not how I wanted. So that's my third trade. What really gave me, a bit more confidence, at least until it started going deep in drawdown, is once I saw the strong impulse move. Now, one thing about me, I once was trading smart money concepts, but I'm like, they do too much. They have the best risk to reward on their trades. I can tell you that, but you got to do too much. You know, this imbalance, or some may call it a gap if you supply and demand trader. Of course, you could have came down here, you know, draw your demand zone or order block, you know, wait for it to come here, set your orders if you will. But yeah, you got to do too much on that. It's just plain simple support and resistance. You see a rejection, get in that thing. Gold. That's my current analysis. I'll get to that later. I showed you this one earlier, right? I said earlier this week, I said this is the trade that I wanted. I was supposed to get this break and retest. She took off without me, huh? So I was like, all right, let me go to the hourly time frame, see if I can get a rejection from this level of resistance, which it was. Let's pull this stochastic up. It was overbought. That's 2. Need I say more, huh? So on gold, I like to get my entries on the 5 minute, because you know how gold is. Gold is fierce. You understand me? This is the one I went over earlier this week again. You know, as I stated, we had barely any pullbacks. You know, not deep enough for me to want to try to enter on at least. So like I said, you know, I had this strong move, barely any pullback, especially on the higher time frame. And then I had found this zone on the hourly time frame, which it was overbought on the hourly time frame. Come down here on the 5 minute. Like I stated before, break of the trend line, barely came back and retested it, so that's cool. But I had this left shoulder that I was relying on. It came back up, made this rejection off this, creating the right shoulder. Blow! That was my entry. This level here, being that it was ways away, I'm like, let me let this act as another key level, which I'll get the alert to bring my stops to even, which I don't do stops to even, I do stops in profit, because I don't want to give nothing back, huh? Brought my stops to even. I don't remember if I took partials or not. I have to check my account. Whether I did or didn't, it came directly here and then gave me that woo wop. It's that woo wop, that good old reversal. Yeah. I believe that's my last one for the day, huh? That was the last trade. I took 2 GJs, 1 UJ, 1 gold. They all came through for me. Yeah, that was my trading week in a nutshell, man. Yeah, I'm proud of myself. I did my thing, but I'm gonna have to be even more strict on my rules. Although this was a flawless victory, you know, flawless victory came through for me, boosting my level of confidence. Made me think maybe I am a pretty good trader, huh? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stick even more more to my rules next week. Be more disciplined. That's the word I've been looking for. I keep saying lose control, same thing, but it's all discipline. Whatever you want to call it, it's all discipline. It all falls under the category of discipline. So I'm only gonna trade Monday through Thursday, Asian session. Right? That being said, gold may not be a part of it. But I will say, if I don't have any setups on GJ or UJ, I will get on gold. You can say what you want to. It's not like gold's gonna say, it's Asian session, let me not move. It may not move as it would in the New York session, but prices still move. And think about it, if you swing trade and you get your entries, prices still making its ebbs and flows, regardless of if you're at the market or not, huh? So, hey, like I said, you know. But yeah, like I say, I was dripping pips all week, huh? Didn't take one loss. Hopefully I can make a repeat next week, right? I mean, if you enjoy what you're seeing, go ahead and give me a like. Like I heard once heard a wise man say, if you've been watching this video this long and you ain't gave me a like, you're stealing from it. But hey, if you can, man, just give me a good old like. Just give me a good old like, man. Use your strongest hand and hit that button and give me a like. All right, get my name pushing, get my channel pushing through these algorithms and these Forex algorithms. Boy, they out there swimming. But yeah, like I said again, undefeated week. I'm gonna try to make a repeat next week. Don't play with it, get with it.